Welcome to Broken Grounds video series. My name is Kareen, and today I want to talk to you about my 5 steps for putting your annual vegetable gardens to bed before the winter sets in. So for some of you, this information might be coming a little bit late, but we've been having such an unusually mild fall that I've wanted to keep my plants in the ground for as long as possible. But now a hard frost has hit, and I'm ready to put the gardens to bed. So my first step in my 5 steps is to cut the plants at their base. So a lot of people have a tendency to pull the whole plant up with the roots, but I prefer to cut them at the base so that the roots can stay in the ground and decompose and add to the organic matter in the soil. So that's my first step. Then the second step is to take that plant debris and to chop it up into small pieces, 1 to 2 inch pieces, basically as much as your time and your patience will allow. So taking that debris and chopping it up into pieces, and do this and then lay it back on the soil. And do this provided that that plant is not diseased. If it's diseased, you do want to remove it from your garden bed and get rid of it, preferably by burning it. So again, you can take a shovel or a pair of pruners and you can go ahead and lay that plant material on the soil and chop it up with a shovel. So if you have some coarse, particularly coarse material that you don't want to chop up, like broccoli stalks, just put those aside for now, and I'll have a use for those at the end of the 5 steps. So the third step is to incorporate any kind of additional amendment to your soil. If you can do this in the fall, it's preferable because it just gives you a jump start on the season in the spring. So I have some goat manure here that I got from a friend that I'm going to incorporate into the soil and lightly till it into the soil. We also have a chicken tractor that you can see behind me, and that chicken tractor allows us to move the chickens around through our annual garden space, and they clean up the garden while at the same time contributing their poop and additional fertility to the soil. So I'm going to go ahead and add this goat manure. And so you can go ahead, just dump it onto your soil beds. And then take a rake, rake that out. Of course, you already have that plant debris that you've chopped up and put down. And then you'll just lightly till it into the soil. So then the 4th step is to cover this soil now with a layer of mulch. I typically use leaves because there's an abundance of them during the fall, and you want to put a layer of leaves or straw over that soil, and that'll insulate the soil over the winter, cut down on soil erosion and compaction, and really make your soil nice and healthy and ready for spring planting. And typically you want to kind of crush up those leaves before you put them on. You don't want them to get matted down. So you can either crush them up in the bag. I like to do that. And then you're just taking them and you're putting a good couple inches over the top of the soil. You can just spread it out a little bit more on. And then what you can do is you can take those stalks or that coarse material that you didn't want to cut up, and you can lay that on top of the leaves or on top of this whole garden bed, and that will keep the leaves from flying away if it gets really windy. So then the final step to my 5 steps is actually to take some notes about your growing season. So what worked, what didn't. Did your planting times work okay? What varieties did really well in the climate? What kind of microclimates you saw in your garden? Taking those notes now while it's still fresh in your mind, and then being able to refer to them early in the spring as you plan your garden is really helpful. So if you have any advice or tips that you would like to share about putting your gardens to bed in the fall, please share them in the comments below. Stay tuned for upcoming videos during the winter, and thank you so much for watching.